Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hash. We are working on the bike storage here for the beginning today. But there's mobs somewhere there, and they're kind of annoying. Apparently, I have like a dark spot, which I've never noticed before. How do I get up there? I guess I got a tower. Dun, dun, dun. Like behind me. Oh! I built this. This is amazing. This shows you how much caves are lit up here and how little spawning space is there. There's like a 3 wide opening there or something from building this room. It's like behind here, right? And there's like 7 mobs in there or something. It's kind of cool with a witch. Oh, you teleported out. Do I try to kill you? Yeah, probably, because I want the freaking ender pearl you drop. Thanks. So we can go to the end at some point. Can we get another witch poison potion? Okay. So now we should be able to kill all of these with one swipe, except for the zombie and maybe the witch. Although no, the witch is hurting herself. But yeah, drinks potions and stuff. Because it's a witch. Okay, cool. Items. Where did the ender pearls drop? Yeah. So I guess that's not a torch. It's like the slot where I usually have torches. I guess we put a torch there for now. Might need to fill that in though, because it's going to show through the stairs. Although it's kind of cool because it's like ambient diffused lighting that doesn't actually light anything up. But anyways, bike storage. Set up 2 things here. This is 1 block higher than this. And there's a reason for that. So here you can access 3 carts, which is like 1.5 double chests worth of items, alright? When you press the button, you get 2 new carts. So these 2 are new now. However, it takes a little bit of time, and I don't necessarily like that. I wanted there to be minecart immediately. Like here, for example. It's like 1 stream of minecarts. Right? And you never get like an empty spot. The thing is though, here, while we can see 3 minecarts, you can't actually access the top one. So you only can access 2 minecarts. And the only way to solve this is to put it even 1 block lower, and then I need like a ladder here and stuff. I don't really want that. I mean, it would be nice, and if I had vertical space above this, I would totally build this just like 10 blocks up, right? So you access stuff from the bottom. Because that way you can like even really spam this. And you're never at a point where there's no minecart here. I'm here. We get a cycle fast because we want stuff from the bottom. And it takes some time to fill up. Then again, this is not really a problem, right? Because this is like a double chest, right? Your inventory is like 1 chest and 9 items. So even if you put like a shulker box here because you gotta move like 4 double chests worth of items, you take like 1 out and press the button, put it in the shulker box, turn back, and minecarts are already there, right? It's not really a problem. However, I thought maybe I should think about this for a little bit. Because thinking about small issues like this is like the basis for innovation, ingenuity, and invention. I suppose. Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, it should work as bulk storage, and I'm going to build more of these and have them at this side. And a little bit into the future, we have no chests left, which is great. Bulk storage, yay! Only built up 6 minecart stacks here. It didn't even fill up the 6th one. But this should be enough for the foreseeable future, right? It's like 10 minecarts in each stack. That's 60 carts. That's 30 double chests. Should be enough. Add a little y-axis here. I'm not sure why I left this open. In case I ever need to put in new minecarts, or they get misaligned because the slime jumps into that or whatever. Although it shouldn't, because I don't think there's a slime chunk here. But you never know. Anyways, next up, I want to build a sheep farm. And I don't want to build a normal sheep farm. I want an incredibly impractical mechanical sheep farm over-engineered. I basically want a pop-up sheep farm, and you might know that one because Etho built one once a couple of years ago. It doesn't really work anymore. But his concept basically was this. He had like a 3x3 of grass, piston in the middle, and dirt block. And you have your sheep on this block, and it's strapped. Dun, dun, dun. So now the sheep's up. And you shear the sheep, and the wool falls through a tripwire or whatever. And it triggers the whole thing, which means this retracts. And then you gotta start doing fancy stuff to detect when the sheep has eaten the grass. What he basically did was have a butt switch next to this, so he can detect when this grass spreads to this dirt block. And once this triggered, because this grass spread to this dirt block, it would butt power the piston below the dirt block, or the now grass block, so the piston down here. And now, when the sheep eats the grass, this is a grass block now, it would pop up. And that's the point where you know, hey, the sheep has grown its wool because it ate grass. And there's a couple of issues with this design. First of all, it doesn't work anymore because piston butts can't detect grass being eaten by sheep anymore, because piston butts only detect block updates, and when a sheep eats grass, it's a block state change. Pistons, however, can still detect when grass grows, because that's actually a block update, and that's not a block state change. I mean, it's both, but it causes a block update. And yeah, that's the main issue, right? It doesn't work anymore. The second issue, which I think is even worse, which has always been the case, this has to be like set up in a really freaky way, because grass can never spread to this block, right? So these are the only grass source blocks you can have. Because if you have grass here, this doesn't spread to the middle anyways. So you gotta be sure this is always dirt when it's up. And you know, because the sheep just ate it and then you immediately popped it up, and now it's out of range for grass to grow to that. But because of that, it's relatively slow, right? Once the sheep eats the grass, once the sheep goes down, you gotta wait for grass to spread to that block. And it's going to take forever because you don't have a lot of grass source blocks. You might say, hey, you have 9, but you don't even have 9, not even close. Because you have redstone everywhere, right? Because you gotta have like your butt switch here. And there's a block in front of the butt switch because you somehow gotta like do something with this and trigger this. And then you gotta power the butt switch, so you have like block here and like a piece of redstone there. Piece of redstone not so bad, but this decays. This decays. And you end up with like 6 grass blocks or whatever. Would be much nicer if you could have like more grass blocks, right? If you could have grass blocks. I need to start using my hotkeys, stop using my mouse wheel. Like grass blocks all around here at the top. You can't have that with Etho's old design, because grass can never spread to this block when it's extended, because then you break the whole thing. It doesn't work anymore. And because then when the block goes down and it's already grass, the first thing you detect is the sheep eating the grass, and then you pop it up when it regrows, and suddenly it takes like even longer. And it already takes long because you gotta wait for the grass to spread to this, which takes long because there's not a lot of source blocks. Anyways, I solved all these problems once, like 6 months ago, and I'm not sure if I remember what exactly I did correctly. So we can leave some of this stuff. We should build this 1 block higher, maybe. I don't have the backup of the world where I built it. It was Creative World. But I did this like 6 months ago with these observer blocks. Because these don't detect block updates, they detect block state changes. So this guy can detect when grass grows to this. A piston can also detect that, but it can also detect if this is a grass block and the sheep eats it. Now there's an issue with using these, because we can't just use this and hey, this is our block update detector. We like take the signal and count when it triggers twice, we pop this block up, right? Because then the grass has regrown and the sheep has eaten the grass. No, it doesn't really work, because as soon as we pop this block up, And I'm just going to move it sideways. It doesn't matter where you move it. It's going to trigger, right? And even when you like pop this block down, it's also going to trigger, and suddenly you need to count like 4. And even then, it's not necessarily great. However, because pistons can still detect when grass grows, we can actually exclude every update but sheep eating the grass, right? Because if... and I'm going to build this one block higher now, which might be slightly annoying. We have this block here, right? This is like the default state. And we have our butt switch here. When we pop this up and down, this butt switch is going to trigger, right? Because that's the block update. The only case where this doesn't trigger is when a sheep eats grass. Which is great, because now we can take our observer block and maybe place this the correct way, which we are probably not allowed, because Mojang doesn't want you to like have fun playing Minecraft. You gotta place pistons and observer blocks in really awkward ways and tower everywhere. Enough complaining. Now, when this triggers and this triggers, we don't do anything. We just do something when only this triggers. And that way we always know, hey, the sheep just ate grass. Let's pop it up. And this way it doesn't matter if this grass was grass or was dirt or whatever, or grass grows to it, because we throw away all those updates, right? Grass grows to it. We throw that away because this triggers and this triggers, nothing happens. When we extend or retract this piston, this triggers and this triggers, nothing happens. If we retract the piston, this triggers, nothing happens. So only when a sheep eats the grass, we pop this block up. And we can detect that, because then only this observer triggers and this doesn't trigger. Okay. So that's the theory. Now let's try to build this really quick. Let's get these for redstone. I'm pretty sure this went into a block and then into a piece of redstone, because otherwise it goes straight, right? I mean, just have a piece of redstone here, goes like this. But we want this to go into this direction because we got to push a block here that this signal goes through. So you could build like an XOR gate here, but those are really bulky, so I'm not going to build an XOR gate. It's technically what I'm building is actually an XOR gate, but it's much smaller because it uses pistons and blocks being in the way. Okay. So we put a block here. This is like a normal piston, right? Yeah, okay. Has to be a normal piston. Put this block here, and this block here, I think. Yeah, I think this is correct. Put a sticky piston here with a redstone block. And we want another piston over here. Pushes all the blocks back. I might not have enough space here. I should have started that like over there. Let's quickly place our grass blocks so we can actually see something. We'll see how this falls into place. Also, so we have something to walk on. Okay, gotta butt power this. We don't really butt power this piston. We use another glitch to make this butt switch. It's not really a glitch, right? It's abusing the fact that pistons can't push extended pistons. So we want redstone torch here, right? And that will trigger this after we have a piece of dust here. Okay. Then we have another redstone torch here because we are going to do something similar on the other side. And that has to power this piston. We need a repeater here, right? We can't use dust. Okay. Most cost efficient way is to do this. Darn it. So this. Okay, let's quickly check if this butt switch works. Because I think you might need to do something with the delay of the repeater. I haven't built these in a long time. Oh no, this works, okay. Okay, and that should be pretty much already it, right? So if these two trigger at the same time now, this is going to light up, but it's not going to power this piston. Because this one is going to put the slab there first. Or I guess not first, but when it starts moving these blocks, so these all become block 36, right? And they don't transfer power. And then the slab is here and that doesn't transfer power, so this piston doesn't get triggered. So let's quickly try that by destroying this block. So this didn't get triggered. This didn't get triggered. This didn't get triggered. Okay. Now we have no way of testing if a sheep eats the grass, if that works, right? We gotta get a sheep on here. Which I guess we will do. I think this is super close to what I originally did. Anyways, this signal we take and put into this piston. I still have the piston there, right? Yeah. Okay. So like that. And now when a sheep eats grass, only this triggers. This goes into this piston. Because this is the 2-tick pulse, or 1 redstone tick pulse, this is going to leave the block down there, and this piston will stay extended. The piston behind here. Okay, that... Yeah, 13 minutes, that's okay. Let me get a sheep on here and cut to when the sheep eats the grass. Alright, we got the sheep in there, and what we want to see when the sheep eats the grass is that it goes up 1 block, because this piston will be extended, or the redstone block will be down there, the piston will be retracted again. But I will leave the block behind. Sheep goes up. And in case you still don't get it, the idea is that you only see the top part here, right? And then you shear your sheep up here, it goes down. And when it regrows wool, it goes up automatically. And the going down part, we can also automate because we can have a hopper here. Because hoppers don't suffocate mobs. And the thing is, you can't place a hopper here. And that's the one flaw with this design. Hey, it worked. And now the sheep can actually escape. So let's quickly put a block here, because we want to have this there for testing purposes. Okay, so that worked. And the reset will be this hopper putting stuff into... Yeah, into a chest, right? So if there's hopper here, we can have a block here and take the signal from the block, right? And that just has to go to this piston. Like so, pretty much. Actually, this won't work, right? Because the sheep will only drop like 1, 2, 3 wool, so the signal will only have a signal strength of 1. So I guess we need a repeater here. Okay. Or we can save the repeater, put another piston here that updates this piston, because this is butt powered if we have this block powered. So sadly we can't illustrate that because we don't have a hopper there yet. And I will tell you how to get the sheep in there with a hopper in a sec. But this is how we would reset it. By hand. But that's basically what happens, right? When stuff is inside the hopper. Chest is going to be on that side, I guess. And creates a signal here. and resets the thing, because this is longer than a 1-tick pulse. Because we can also do this, so it's guaranteed longer than a 1-tick pulse. Alright, and that's pretty much about that. So the way you get the sheep in there, you can't just push it in there with pistons or anything. You can't push it like from the top, from the bottom, when you have like a hopper there, because at that point you're trying to push it into the block. And it will just fall through the block you're extending then. What you actually gotta do is get a baby sheep in there, trap it, wait until it grows up. Because baby sheep, you can put the hopper above it and then it grows into the hopper. And at that point you can just push it up and down as you will, pretty much. And that is because if there was a hopper there in the middle, this sheep would already be in the hopper. If we push it from the bottom, we gotta push it from like 1 block lower, right? And because sheeps are like 1.4 blocks high or something, it's not in the hopper yet if it's 1 block lower, and you can't push it into the hopper. But this way, if there was a hopper there, sheep would already be in the hopper, so you can just push it up. And then you can see the top here through the hopper and shear it, and all the wool goes into the hopper. I think that all the wool goes into the hopper. I hope. Alright, I just noticed something when playing around with this a little bit, which might be a potential problem. I mean, it killed my sheep, so it could very well be a problem. But I don't know if it can actually happen in vanilla, the way this is set up. So what I was doing is, I had the sheep on there, and I didn't want to wait for the sheep to eat the grass for it to pop up. I wanted to have like a manual override that could test that. So I put a button here, right? Because that's what this observer does. It powers this redstone line. And when this is powered for longer than the observer powers it, we actually create a 0-tick pulse here. We have a 0-tick pulse generator, and I don't know 0-tick pulses very well, but it happens because we push the block away here, right? And that happens in the same tick as this gets powered. And this makes this piston create a 0-tick pulse in this redstone line down here. Anyways, what I do know about 0-tick pulses, and what I can show you in a second, is that when you 0-tick pulse a piston, it instantly pushes the block. I mean, it doesn't really push the block pretty much teleports over here when we 0-tick pulse this. So it leaves the block behind, like with a 1 redstone tick pulse. But it also instantly moves it, because it instantly extends, and is instantly in the state where it looks like this. So, demonstration, when we press this button, you will see this block not smoothly go upwards. It will go smoothly down, but up it goes instantly. You see that, right? Okay, for comparison's sake, here's a 1-tick pulse. This goes up smoothly. And one more time, instantly. Anyways, that's a problem, because if you have a sheep up here and it goes instantly up, block is inside the sheep, sheep will suffocate. Right? Because the sheep doesn't get pushed up, because the block teleports upwards into the sheep. So I don't know if this can actually happen. Unless you use like a button, unless you force it. It might be able to happen, because I don't know how these observer blocks work, right? Because redstone basically works on half the tick rate than like gameplay, right? Like 1 redstone tick is 2 game ticks, and 1 redstone tick is the smallest you can have, apart from 0-tick redstone. That's also a thing, but there's no 1 game tick redstone, really, as far as I'm aware. And I don't know what happens when a sheep eats this grass, and it instantly, or not instantly, but it regrows in the next game tick. If this might be powered for more than 1 tick, and thus create a 0-tick here. But just in case that could happen, we can just put a repeater here, right? And set it to 1 tick even. Or probably 2, because if we set it to 2, it also will never leave the block behind. I think if we set it to 1, yeah, it will leave the block behind. We set it to 2, that shouldn't happen. Okay, let's try 1 again. Yeah, leaves the block behind. And because it triggers multiple times, right? Because this is powered for way too long. But set this to 2 and we get rid of the instantly teleporting the block into the sheep. Which is going to be a huge pain, or would be a huge pain if our sheep die. Because putting these back in here is like really annoying, because you gotta use babies, as I said. Anyways, next question is where we put this. We will probably have 16 cells, 1 for each color. Or maybe 20, or 20, 32? 2 for each color? Probably overkill, probably 1 for each color. And I think a good idea is to put it like up here. There's nothing built here yet, right? But I said in the past, this might become my way down from the surface. Can you die? Can I actually aim? No. So if we come down from the surface, or even if we come through the nether portal, which is over here, but I can move the nether portal, obviously. We might go this direction to our base, and then we can have one side with these pop-up sheep farms, 1 for each color. And every time we come from the surface or the nether, we go through there, right? So we can set it up in a way where it passes us shears, and we don't walk straight, we just walk sideways and hold right-click, and we don't waste any time, and it all works automatically. And we get wool, and at the end we throw the shear into like a hopper, and it goes back. Would be a good idea, right? Would work automatically. And the way this would connect over here is somewhere to this path. So this gotta wrap around to the right, and then right again. And up there should be like the entrance, right? I gotta measure that out and stuff. And obviously excavate the area. And that's going to be a decent amount of work. Sadly, our episode is already relatively long, but I thought it might be a good idea to show the thought process behind it and explain this instead of just, hey, here, I built this in Creative, we are going to do this. This is how it works, right? Because I had to remind myself how to build this anyways, because I don't have a backup, as I said. And yeah. Again, the beauty of this design, in case this wasn't fully clear, is that we don't have to like wait for the grass to grow necessarily, because we can also have grass up here. It's contrary to all the other pop-up sheep farms, because they rely on the fact that when the block is extended, it's always dirt and can't be grass. But we can have it in a way where grass already spreads to it when it's extended, and then it goes down, it's already grass, and we basically cut the waiting time by a lot. So we can have grass blocks anyway. It doesn't matter what this block is, because the setup only detects when sheep eat the grass. It doesn't detect when grass grows to it. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. We'll build this next time. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye. And until next time.